time on Derby Day. Let's get to the Derby now, the feature of the day. El Castello is your favourite, $3.40. Now, he's eased out to $4.60, $4.80, We are holding good money on him, though, as well as King of Thunder. He gets locked away by James McDonald, looking to ride 3 winners on the day in a back-to-back Group 1 double. He'll just go to sleep. Good support. 8 to 5.56, holding. Red Aces will get a beautiful run from that barrier as well, and he's firm at the $8 there. $12 into $8. Gold Rush Guru. Drawn Orcs, drawn a little wide, but he might be able to fit in going out of the straight the first time. Good specking at the each-way price. The best one backed at the price is number 7, $23 to 12 to 11. Politely done, but it's wider than that. It smells of an upset, this race. Let's get to the mounting yard. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the 1-800 number or visit the website.
This mounting yard is brought to you by Tradies Zero Carb Beer.
The 171st running of the Penfolds Victoria Derby is upon us. Our race favourite is horse 1, El Castello. Anthony Cummings winning it with 5.5 star in 2012. He was on the 7-day backup, as is El Castello after winning the Spring Champion in Sydney last week.
Yeah, he's a talent. I think he brings the strongest form lines. The issue is obviously the wide barrier, but he has won 4 straight this preparation, and with any sort of luck from the gate, he could easily make it 5.
He's a gorgeous horse. He just looks sensational my first time laying eyes on him. He's well put together, he's moving well, he's conserving his energy nicely, and I think he's been perfectly prepared, so one of the main dangers for sure.
We'll come back to the 2 in Red Aces, the 3 in Keeneland. Hugh Bowman has a good association with the Derby, winning it on the likes of Lion Tamer and Sangster for Trent Busson, who trains in partnership with Natalie Young. This horse winning the Superimpose here on Turnbull Day.
And that was a good tempo to that race, suggesting this horse, who's bred for better ground, will be a leading contender here. Slowly run Norman Robinson didn't suit against a couple of key rivals, but he could easily bounce back, and Hugh Bowman's a great booking.
He's a classic Derby type. If you were going to talk about one, that's what you sort of picture, that tall, athletic, lean frame, well put together, nice mover. He's doing everything right. I think that he's beautifully bred for this. By El Manzor, out of a Savaville mare, ticks a lot of boxes.
Superimpose win and a Caulfield Classic, placing the pathway for Riff Rocket to win the Derby last year. The 4 in Gold Rush Guru, Andrew Lewis trying to do what his old training partner Leon McDonald did with Rebel Raider 16 years ago, come via the Hillsmith in Adelaide to win the Derby.
Yeah, terrific form last start, up in trip, should suit. And this horse posted a good time when winning last start and won at $1.50. He's definitely in the game.
Just another nice athletic horse. He's just having a little bit of a bounce there, but he's not overdoing it. There is a huge atmosphere, so I'm not concerned about what he's doing. He's been presented in great shape.
Kieran Maher searches for his second Derby. Hitotsu in 2021, the 5 St. Emilion, took out the Geelong Classic at his 4th career start.
It's a harder race here. He's got to certainly raise the bar, but he has won his last 2, and he looks as though he'll be suited up in trip.
Yeah, he does on type and pedigree. I think that he's taken nice natural improvement out of that win at Geelong.
6 is King of Wall Street, 2 runners from Matt Kamani, 2nd in the Derby trial, then winning the Caulfield Classic.
Gritty win last start, and yeah, he should be bred and will handle this trip as well. Love the performance last time out. We're yet to see the best out of him. He's in the game.
This horse looks absolutely impeccable. He's dappled from head to toe. He's spot on with his fitness. I wouldn't underestimate him. Well done to Matt and his team. They couldn't have him here any better than what he is.
Danny O'Brien went close with Young Verder in 2020. The 7, Politely Done, was 4th last Saturday in the Vase.
On the backup, he'll be fit. He's had 2 runs over 2,000 now, and probably a more truer test will also help his cause as well. Damien Lane booked to ride is another positive, or another one that you could certainly make a case for.
He's such a powerful mover, this horse. I think back at Flemington it's going to suit him. He's got a big action and he needs to be able to use that. He's presented in great shape.
8, King of Thunder, close up when 3rd in the Vase last Saturday. James McDonald shooting for back-to-back derbies.
So 8 tempo might not have helped there, but you know, up in trip looks as though he'll be suited as well. You've got J Mac, gate 1, should fall asleep from there, and if he does, we know he'll be strong late.
Yeah, another horse that I think is going to be suited to a bigger track. He's such a nice horse, this fellow. Classic Derby type. He's tall, handsome, athletic. He's a great mover. He's got a great frame. There's a lot to like about this horse.
9 Tenbury Wells has got a stout staying pedigree. He showed that 2 back on a heavy track to win a Kembla Grange 2,000-metre Class 1 before running 5th in the Gloaming.
He does have a bit to turn around on the Gloaming behind El Castello. I didn't see too many excuses, and he wasn't that strong late there.
Yeah, his mum was a superstar and second in an Oaks herself to Machine, so he's bred to get this kind of trip. So sometimes all they need is to step up and get over that right distance. He's presented beautifully.
Nose roll on, blinkers off for the 10 Peru, who was beaten 3 lengths in the Vars.
Yeah, big price, rightly so. His form is has got to lift if he's going to be competitive here.
Presented in lovely order, but there are others that I prefer here.
Mark Zara rides the 11 China Sea for John Sargent. Was second in the Caulfield Classic to King of Wall Street.
He's building nicely, and it was certainly a much better run there. Mark Zara's drawn nicely. He'll get a quiet run from there. Don't think the distance will be an issue with the right stable.
Beautiful athletic horse, like you say, Hutchie, in the right stable with the right big race jockey on board, and he's presented here in tip-top shape. There's a lot to like about him. He's a lovely horse.
So that's the 11 China Sea, who's come via the Ming Dynasty in the Dulcify, the traditional lead-ups to the Spring Champion, and then the Derby. To the 12, Hot to Go, the second of the O'Brien runners. Jordan Childs was in the saddle, 3 back for a placing to Plymouth at Bendigo and a maiden over 1,500. Placed again at Seymour over 16, and then the runner-up to St. Emilion in the Geelong Classic.
Consistent, but consistent at an easier level. He has to raise the bar, no doubt. He's a horse that can put himself in a prominent position. That may help.
He's a horse that keeps on improving physically, this fellow. I think that with more time, he's going to get even better. The team have done their job. I think they've found a tricky race, but he looks great.
The blinkers off, Hot to Go, and also off the 13 in Scary. Luke Nolan goes on for Emily and David Brown. Third in the Superimpose, and then 4 lengths off in a slowly run Caulfield Classic.
Doesn't have a lot to make up in terms of beaten margin, but he does have a bit to turn the tables on recent rivals. So it's not a massive margin, but he does need to lift on what we've seen at his last 2.
Well done to the team. They've presented their horse looking fantastic. I think pedigree, type, and the way he's been going, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
14 is Oxford Blue, who's looked every bit the Derby type, both on pedigree and his performance in 3 career starts. Ethan Brown tried to get it done from the front when he was a short price favourite and beaten into 3rd in the Geelong Classic.
Yeah, I thought it was an even sort of performance. I'm not sure if the Geelong Classic's the right form, but his effort was decent enough. The barrier makes it difficult today.
Yeah, it does. It's not an ideal draw for a Derby, but good luck to Julius and his team. The horse looks fantastic. Pedigree all day, every day. Type, exactly the same, and attitude gets a big tick. He's a lovely, relaxed horse that does everything right.
Drawn outside Oxford Blue is the 15 West Indies, who was with Kieran Maher and has been sold to Fortuna Racing and Mark Walker for $200,000, and will now give a new ownership group a chance at a Derby at its 4th career start.
Yeah, he's certainly an interesting runner. He's only lightly raced, like you said, new stable. Wide barrier won't help here, but he's another one that can go forward. He'll need to improve on recent efforts, but he's open to it.
And another horse that presents in lovely order. It's a tricky yard to dissect. There are others that I prefer, but there's no knock on him.
16 Autumn Heat, trying to win the Derby as a maiden, was 5th last Saturday in the Vars.
Yeah, he's got to have to improve off the back of that effort. He's had a few goes at it. He will stay, I'd imagine, but he needs to improve.
Yeah, I'd echo those sentiments. Good luck to Connections. It's always a thrill to have a runner in a big race like this, and he's been turned out in beautiful order, but there are others that I'd put in front of him here.
2 runners for Matt Kamani, of course, who was second with Hit the Shot behind Johnny Get Angry in 2020. Back to horse 2 in Red Aces, and this has been a long-range plan for Nick Ryan. Jamie Mott's been in the saddle for all 5 career starts. His 2nd career start was a win in the distance test for the 2-year-olds in the Melbourne Winter, the Biley.
Yeah, and he went well last week, and I think a true tempo won't thwart his chances. He was excellent behind Keeneland in the Superimpose. He's drawn well. He gets a good run. Best of luck to Nick Ryan and the team.
I love this horse as a type and as a racehorse in general. I had him on top last week. I like that he's not being quite as silly today. He is a high-energy sort of a fellow. He's real sort of has a little bit of a high opinion of himself. I just query whether he's going to run a strong trip out here today or if he's better back at 2,000.
That's the field for the 171st Pensfolds Victoria Derby. Riff Rocket is a $2.20 favourite, held off Apulia and Sunsets last year. 2 years ago, 2 horses we're likely to see in Tuesday's Lexus Melbourne Cup. Manzoist defeating Sharp and Smart, Hatotsu in 2021, Johnny Get Angry in 2020. Hutch, you've got El Costello on top, the Spring Champion winner. Your selection in the Derby.
Yeah, I think that's the right form, Nigel, and there's money coming back for it by the look of it. I think Keeneland, Red Ace, there's not much between them. King of Wall Street, well, good luck to Woolley and the boys, but I'll be with number 1, El Costello.
Yeah, what a great race. A pleasure to cast my eyes over these lovely staying horses. I'm with King of Thunder here. I thought this horse looked sensational. I saw him at Moonee Valley recently for the first time, and my comments were he's just got Derby horse written all over him, and I echo those sentiments again today. I think he's absolutely glorious. Looks like he wants this trip all day, every day. He's been perfectly prepared, and I think that hopefully we're right at the end of the day. A number of these horses look fantastic. I must give mention El Castello looked great. Keeneland, King of Wall Street looks an absolute picture. It's a tough race, as you'd expect, but I'm with King of Thunder.
Amy, he's nice and solid in the market, but there's been a great rally for the favourite. He got out to $4.40 with sports bet punters, and they went wickety-whack back into $4 now, and really tightening up is El Castello. All right, now looking down the page there, you can see that King of Thunder's rock solid. Red Aces also, and the best backed at prices are 7 Politely Done and 6 King of Wall Street. Speed map time. Let's have a look at him roll out of the straight. It's just a short gallop out of the straight the first time. Look, you can't win it, but you can lose it. If El Castello jumps like he has in his previous wins, he's going to use West Indies, Oxford Blue, and also Hot to Go in Keeneland to get across and try and fit in that first 400 metres. Until they straighten up along the back straight, 2,000 metres, it's a beautiful 400-metre gallop, then they lock and load and settle. Who does it suit that's drawn inside? Red Aces. He's drawn back here in 3. Also Saint Emilion, King of Thunder, drawn 1. They can just go to sleep and just let it all unfold and have no pressure early doors, but they will need luck from the 700 to the 300-metre mark. Good pressure going out of the straight the first time, sets it up for an honest gallop in the Derby. Matty Kamani, well, he'd be very excited. He's with Nigel right now.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Matt Kamani with us, hoping to go one better than 4 years ago. Hit the shot, second to Johnny Get Angry, Autumn Heat, and King of Wall Street, his 2 key chances in the Penfolds Victoria Derby. How are the nerves? You look like you are welling.
But no, I think I've been pretty good. Every time I start thinking about it, I have to force myself to think of something else, because otherwise I don't think I'll be able to handle it. But I'm confident that I'm presenting the horses in great shape. They're at their best for their age and at this stage of their campaign. So it now comes down to the jockeys and to the horse to see what he can do.
And on the jockeys, what a tremendous opportunity and responsibility you give Owen Walsh with Autumn Heat. Is that quite satisfying, just to be able to give him a chance in one of our classic races?
Well, I like to have a stable jockey, and I think it's important to support that stable jockey. There's no point having one and then not giving him good rides. And thankfully, I've got the owners to support him as well. Kevin and Prue Riddell, the sort of people that get behind a young guy trying to make it, and they did it to me, and they're doing it to Owen Walsh as well. So hopefully he can put in one of the best races of his career. King of Wall Street has come a long way in a very short space of time. It's hard to believe 2 starts ago, at start 2, he was running so well here in a Derby trial. How's he progressed since Caulfield? I think he's progressed really well, and you know, the fact he's unexposed is a positive and a negative. We know so little about him really on race day. I don't think we've really got to the bottom of him. Hopefully today we'll see what he can really do. He's a very laid-back professional horse, and I think that'll stand him in good stead today. The well-known short run to the first turn. In an ideal scenario, where do we see him leaving the straight? I'd like to see him sort of just a bit better than midfield, probably in touch with the leading group, but ahead of the sort of midfield group, so he doesn't have to go all the way around them. I think from there he's in the perfect spot to adjust depending on the pace of the race. All the best. Thanks a lot.
Danny, you got 2 lovely horses here, blinkers off both of them, stepping up in trick. Talk us through Politely Done.
Yeah, they're both in good shape. They've had a really good grounding today to step out to the 2,500 metres for the first time. Come through their last runs very well, and they both ran well at their last runs.
Looking at Politely Done in the yard, he's got such a big action, you'd have to think that he's probably better suited here to at Moonee Valley in his most recent.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Flemington's a track that he's run well at before. He won his maiden at Ballarat again on a big track like this. He's definitely better on this sort of track than he would have been last Saturday at Moonee Valley. And the other horse has done nothing wrong either. Yeah, he's building towards a big performance, and hopefully can be today.
One nice draw, one slightly sticky draw. What are your instructions?
Look, Damien Lane on Politely Done will probably just be neutral. He'll end up probably midfield. There looks like there's good pressure from out wide. Hot to Go roll forward to the post the first time and then just see what happens.
Good luck.
Thanks, Sam.
The Derby start right in front of the crowd, Michael, as well. So probably horses might be susceptible to getting a little bit more nervy there with the noise right on their doorstep.
Sure does that to you when you have the crowds, especially when you jump out of the barriers, when you get a hiss and a roar from everyone or a clap, and the horses do get up on the bridle and want to go forward. But El Castello, I'm with you, Hutch. I think form-wise, he's got the form to be able to win this race today. And Josh Parr, his record here at Flemington, you said to me before, 40-something% winners.
Yeah, he's got about 27%, I think, but a great record on favourites. And he doesn't go there very often, but he gets it done when he gets a chance.
When he comes here to Flemington, so he jumps on the plane, he generally gets it done. For this time it's with Anthony Cummings, not Bjorn Baker. It's usually Bjorn Baker, but he'll end up in a good spot, I'm telling you. He'll be in the first 6. He'll either be 1 out, 1 back, or 3 back, 1 off.
Best seat in the house is Matt Hill. Let's head out there now.
Trotting around behind the line, Gold Rush Guru, the hope of South Australia, and trainer Andrew Gluyas and Jamie Carr, who's had a roller coaster day so far. West Indies and Craig Newitts takes another turn. King of Wall Streets loads up. Oxford Blue goes in. So the field just about set, as West Indies is going to be the last, with also El Costello. West Indies goes in. El Costello will be the final one. Australia's oldest classic about to get underway, with El Costello the favourite to take the outside, and the field is locked away. They're set for the Penfolds Victoria Derby. Sets, and they're racing. Keeneland away fairly, brushed into Autumn Heat shortly after the start. King of Thunder broke well with Saint Emilion, but they don't want to lead. Keeneland is out deeper on the course, with also pushing up Hot to Go and Oxford Blue out wider. King of Wall Street is starting to drive through between horses. They charge out of the straight. King of Thunder's holding its place on the rail for now. Hot to Go is going to cross and lead Oxford Blue. Keeneland's 3 wide improving. King of Thunder behind them with King of Wall Street, and then came Gold Rush Guru, who's 3 wide and posted. Saint Emilion on the outside of Peru at the 1900 metres. 1.5 lengths to Scary, Red Aces, and then came China Sea. 3 further back in the field then is one off the fence there, El Costello the favourite, but it's well back in the field from Politely Done, Autumn Heat, Tenbury Wells, and at the tail is West Indies heading towards the 1600 metres. Hot to Go led the Derby by 1 3/4 lengths. Oxford Blue is second. Keeneland is third on the rails, and they're 1.5 lengths in front. They were followed by Gold Rush Guru, who settled in a beautiful position. 4th, one off the fence as they reach the 1400. King of Thunder 5th the rails, 1 length King of Wall Street, 1.5 lengths Peru Saint Emilion, then China Sea and Red Aces, who would spot the speed about 10. 2 for the back is Scary, Politely Done, then El Costello. Autumn Heat is next. West Indies as well back in the field, preceded by Tenbury Wells as they run past Chiquita Lodge with about 1100 metres to go. Hot to Go the leader by 1.5 lengths to Oxford Blue. 1 length away is Keeneland third, and then came Gold Rush Guru. 1 length away in the field, King of Thunder. King of Wall Street, it's outside. 2 further back, Peru, and the speed has been even at the 850, and they get away as they come towards the home corner. Next in the field, Red Aces, who's just closing that gap a little, about 8 lengths off the lead now. Well back in the field then is China Sea, and then towards the back of the field, out very deep, El Costello with Autumn Heat trying to get involved. Politely Done shuffle back to third last, with also West Indies and Tenbury Wells into the running at the 500 metres, and Gold Rush Guru under a hold goes up to Hot to Go. Then came King of Wall Street, who's running on fairly well. Red Aces is coming through, still 4 off the lead. Gold Rush Guru went for home. 2 lengths King of Wall Street, followed by Scary right down the centre of the track. Gold Rush Guru at the 150. Scary is staying on, then China Sea. Gold Rush Guru for South Australia with 100 to go is pulling out. It's the stronger. It's going well, and Gold Rush Guru won the Derby. Scary second, a photo third between King of Wall Street and China Sea, and then El Costello. Next in the field, Red Aces and King of Thunder. Hot to Go was next, followed then in the field by Saint Emilion. Well back in the field, Keeneland, with also Politely Done with Tenbury Wells, West Indies, Peru, Autumn Heat, and one more. Last was Oxford Blue. Gold Rush Guru for Jamie Carr and Andrew Gluyas for South Australia have taken out the Victoria Derby. What a day for Jamie Carr, winning the Damien Oliver for owner Cole McKenna. Was stood down by the doctor after race 5 and has come out and has taken out the Derby in spectacular fashion. Gold Rush Guru, if there was a horse you wanted to be on in the turn, absolutely towed up with the Jamie Carr punching out this terrific galloper from South Australia. Scary's run out of its skin second. Luke Nolan for Emily and David Brown. And it's going to be a head bobber for third. A very close photo indeed. Gold Rush Guru wins. Number 4. Now third, it's between China Sea and King of Wall Street. That might very well be the order, but we stand by, and El Costello has run on fairly into 5th money. But it's an Adelaide win, a South Australian win to the Victoria Derby for 2024.
Yeah, big moment for the South Australians. Not since Rebel Raider have they had a winner here. So fantastic scenes there on course. And what a great ride, Michael, as well. From a tricky gate, Jamie just got into a beautiful spot.
She sure did. The run that she had throughout the run, it didn't matter if the pace was going to be quick or slow. She was just in the perfect plumb spot. And when he went forward here, as you see, halfway up the straight, geez, she had some horse under him and he just never slowed down.
Great run from Scary. The blinkers came off today, closed well. Couldn't quite get to Gold Rush Guru. King of Wall Street, Brave. We had China Sea back on the inside. And the favourite, they were the conservative, I think, from the wide gate. Look, I know he didn't get there today, but he's run extremely well from well back in the field. He's closest at the finish. Gee, he was making up a lot of ground as well. But I suppose it was going to make it tough. And Jamie Carr's got to take a lot of the credit here, along with the team, just by getting that right spot in the race. Yeah, this, as we say, that from that awkward barrier, for her to go take bad luck out of the equation was outstanding. And El Costello, draw, maybe beat him, as we said. But his run, Red Ace, is a little bit disappointing. He had a good run also, but... Simon, there seemed good tempo in the race. Like, they weren't hanging around. Like, I know the winner's been relatively prominent, but I wasn't looking at the race thinking, oh, they're not, you know, they're not going at a reasonable sort of gallop to the eye. Too Good, Too Hot was rolling along beautifully. And then Oxford Blue on the outside was gone, 700 out. You can see Hugh Bowman on Keeneland in box seat, sneak up inside that, push that horse out 3 deep. And then Jamie Carr was 1 out, 1 back, had the beautiful run. Following her back on the paint was King of Thunder. Just over-raced a little in the run, was a bit aggressive, so cost him late. And Jamie, once that Oxford Blue dropped off, she was just left in front a long way out. She had to go. She had to do something. He cruised into the race. Keeneland disappointing off the bridle. 2 Darn Hot drops off. And then King of Wall Street and Scary from nowhere screams home. Nearly caused an upset, but geez, looked a winner a long way out.
And the thing that we need to take out of this, Hutch, is leading into the race, the slow, moderate tempos, you know, the horses were well supported, but they failed. Whereas the winner Guru in Adelaide, good time in the race. El Costello, good time and good runs, but these slow, moderate tempos have not helped the Melbourne horses.
Well said, Michael. Let's hear from Andrew Lewis, the winning trainer.
Andrew Lewis joins us after winning the 171st Penfolds Victoria Derby. Andrew, you stood on these bricks with the dam of this horse 7 years ago. She'd just run second in a Wakeful. Can you believe how things have come full circle in the space of 7 years?
Oh, 17, 27, all the years, you know, like our camp, we often talk about derbies and, you know, Leon sort of won the SA Derby with French Cotton, and that's sort of the name. That's, you know, we're French Cotton Lodge back home. He had a great run of horses running in the Derby. Gold Guru won the AJC Derby. Rebel Raider then stood up 08 and won here, the VRC Derby, and then went home and won our Derby. We've had a few near misses with Hydrometer, so it's folklore. We often talk about derbies, and you know, when we prepare them and you get a good result like this, you know, it's great that we can talk about Gold Rush Guru now.
I'll let you quench that hard-earned thirst while I ask the next one, which is in regards to the preparation and I guess the trust. So you know what it takes to get a horse to peak for a 3-year-old staying classic, but the Hillsmiths at 1800, a bold attempt to go from 18 straight to 25. What gave you that confidence that was the right prep?
Forced us, just with the programming back home, normally it was a 3-week break, this year it was 2, so it just forced our hand that little bit. He needed some early racing, so we got him up a little bit early and he came out and won, perhaps out of line, his first 2 starts. Just with regard to that, I'm indebted to Caitlin Jones and the work that she's done on the horse. She took him from a raw unit as a 2-year-old and really presented us with a 3-year-old that is now a Group 1 winner.
What were you thinking in run?
Oh, it was sort of awkward watching initially. Jamie, he did jump well, she was posted wide. Then she finally settled into a beautiful spot, sort of pair back, and was travelling into the corner beautifully, and I thought, oh, we're a good crack here. And you always look for those horses that are, you know, full of the bridle and coming at you. But he was too strong. It was a great staying effort by Gold Rush Guru.
What's it like to get the band back together, so to speak? Jamie's such a proud South Australian, and what an export she is. She's doing incredible things on both the Victorian stage and more broadly around the country, riding in our best races. What is it like to reunite with her and take the Derby trophy back to SA?
Oh, she's a proven carnival jockey, which is what we used to call them, and you know, she's professional. She knew what she was doing today. She's a credit to herself and where she's going. You know, probably today is just a stepping stone for her to go to the Olympics, and you know, that's what she is. She's the utmost professional, and she can keep giving. You know, she's an athlete, good judge, and it was great. I think Leon reminded me last night at dinner, I think she rode her first black type race for us, so I'm not sure what that was. But anyway, no, she's credit to her, well done, and yeah, credit to my team as well. Like, we work hard, you know, we're nose to the grindstone, we all blood, sweat and tears, and you got to take the good with the bad, and you know, today we had a good win in Adelaide, and you know, won a Group 1 here at Flemington. So credit to all my team, unbelievable. Shout out to Molly Knowles, who's strapped today. She travelled with the horse. You know, it was a bit nerve-wracking bringing a colt over, who's a little bit raw. And she's done a tremendous job with him, produced today. The team produced today, and I'm very proud of everybody.
Andrew, bravo. The first Derby trophy since Rebel Raider heading back across the border. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks, Nigel. So, thanks, everyone.
Round, mate. How good was that?
Oh, brilliant. I've lost my voice a little bit. The way he was coming, yeah, he was great. I was so proud of him. Probably still roaring that Caulfield Classic. We were really worried about how we were going to get the work into him. It's a horse that does so well. But all credit to David. He's sort of gone back to the way we used to train our New Zealand stayers. And, yeah, he's got him to where he is. So, yeah, it's been big team effort, but, oh, brilliant. So exciting.
It must mean so much to you and to David. You've been over here in Australia for a few years now. You're building your team up to come so close in a major. It's as good as winning without winning.
It is. It's amazing to even be here. I've got my mum here, and she was like, did you ever imagine you'd be doing this, like, sort of 3 years into being here? So it's just absolutely wrapped and incredibly exciting.
I know you like a party, and I'm sure you'll celebrate like you've won anyway, and well done.
Just after winning the Penfolds Victoria Derby on Gold Rush Guru for Andrew Lewis. Nice to get the SA team getting it done on the big stage. What's that mean?
Everything. It means everything. Obviously we love riding Group 1 winners, but it just makes it so much more special when it's for fantastic people like Andrew. I used to ride for Andrew and Leon when I was claiming 4. Rode some shockers back in the day for them, so it was nice to repay them on the big stage on Derby Day.
It's well in the rearview mirror now, as was the rest of the field. Tell us about how things unfolded in the Derby, and so much of the Derby is about timing. How did you get that right?
Everything just worked out perfectly. My plan was to get back on him, couldn't hold him early. I was going to be wide, and somehow found a little gap to slot into, and once I found the gap, he just fell asleep and gave me a beautiful ride throughout. He won it a long way out, and I could have stopped him for another lap. He wanted to keep going. They've trained this horse just to perfection. He's looked good winning in Adelaide, but obviously the class is a bit different, and I just didn't know how he'd measure up. But God, they've done a good job with him.
How were you able to judge and manage the tempo? We had a couple of changes that looked to be pretty quick early on when everyone was trying to find their position. Yeah, it was, and then they slackened, and I thought I was going to be in trouble with the way he was pulling, and the horse just fell asleep. Obviously, they've taught him how to settle. I was shocked, actually. I thought I was going to be over racing out of control, and he just gave me the most beautiful ride. So credit to the team, and thank you for letting me sit and steer a Derby winner. Group 1's the best possible ice pack, but how's the nose? It was hurting before the race. Now I can't feel it. It's fine. Jamie, well done. You've won yet another classic on Flemington soil. Thanks, Nige. $1 million has been in Group 1 for the past 20 years, and it's exclusively for the mares this year. Pride of Jenny last year, the first of her 2 Group 1s across the week. She defeated a Tissue, Life Lessons and Denied Knowledge. We start our mounting yard preview with Horse 2 in Amelia's Jewel, now in the care of Annabelle Neesham and Rob Archibald, of course, an outstanding winner here of the Let's Elope during the spring last year. She's here via the King Charles.
Yeah, and she that little gear change might be what she's required. Jamie Carr on board, low barrier, looking to get a little bit of cover early. That'll certainly help. She needs to sort of lift on some of her recent efforts, but we know she's very good on her day.
sometimes blinkers going on these good horses. That's all that she might need to turn around. She's presented in brilliant order. I think that she should be running very well.
3 years Orchestral, who was wide in a blanket finish over 1400 at Ellerslie, then 3 weeks later contested the Toorak.
Yeah, and we've seen another will come out of that, albeit back in trip, and run well out of the Toorak, and Orchestral certainly had her share of excuses in that race. I like the barrier. She'll settle back, and once again, little gear change, and she'll be powering home late.
She's only just coming into the yard now, guys, so I can't give a fair and proper assessment on her properly, but from what I can see, she looks well enough, but I'm too far away to see properly.
To the 4 in Revolutionary Miss, who's now part of the Kieran Maher operation, and Triple Crown syndications have had so much fun with her. Her 30th career start today, 1.8 million in prize money. She won the Blazer 2 back here.
Yeah, you'd love to be part of the ownership group. She is just tough, consistent. She makes her own luck, and she'll make the most of a good barrier. So she'll be there or thereabouts once again, and no doubt she is consistent and has claims to figure in the finish again.
Super consistent, and another really good parade from her. She's in great order on the track and off the track. She looks good.
James Cummings won this race with Colette 3 years ago. The 5 Zardozi, 2nd in a Metrop, 4th in a Caulfield Cup, using this in preparation for Tuesday's Lexus Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, tick over run, obviously taking notes from his grandfather, and look, Zardozi, you'd imagine, will just be outpaced here, but it'd be certainly one to watch with next week in mind.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I love old school sort of tactics like this, but she presents in great order. She seems to have a little bit of pep in her step. She's moving well. She's obviously rock hard fit, dropping back significantly in distance. So James has got her ticking along beautifully, and this will just top her off nicely.
To the 6 in Komochi, Hugh Bowman has the ride from the inside gate for Gary Portelli. And she stepped from a top 4 effort in the Manikato to then be top 4 in the Silver Eagle.
Yeah, she was good in the Manikato, I thought. Now up to 1,600 metres is interesting. She's only had 2 cracks at the distance, placed on each occasion, and she should get an economical run from the barrier.
She looks really well, this horse. She's super strong. She's such a lovely type of mare, and I think that she's been presented pretty much perfectly for this. She's fit, she's well, and she's moving in a really nice way.
And those 2 cracks at 1,600 Hutch, placings in a Group 1 flight, and 1,000 guineas as well. To the 7 in Al Safina, Blake Shin riding for Grant and Alana Williams. He was in the saddle for the win in the Stocks 2 back.
Just a fantastic overall record. She's had 18 starts. She's won 10, and she's placed another 7 times. So she never runs a bad race. Placed in the Toorak behind Antenna. That was a fantastic effort. She's in the game.
She looks really well, this horse, and I actually had the benefit of watching her gallop earlier in the week at Mornington. She's been staying down our way. She worked an absolute treat. I think she's right in this.
To the 8 in Lekvate, who had a couple of runs during the Queensland winter, is 3rd up here, 4th the Golden Pennant, then won the Yanks. That's the race that Shout the Bar came out of to win this 4 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, that was a solid performance. This is obviously a tougher level, but posted pretty good time, this mare. So she's open to a little bit of improvement. Got a great winning strike rate.
She's got a lovely look on her face, this horse. She's very relaxed. She's using her action particularly well, and her fitness is spot on. So if you like her on form, there's a lot to like about her from a yard point of view as well. There's nothing negative to say about her.
Josh Parr in the saddle for both those runs this preparation. So that is the 8 in Lekvate. To the 9 in See You in Heaven. Of course, started the preparation with win on home soil in the Behemoth, looking to continue a good run for the South Aussies. 2 back, was placed in the Let's Elope behind Grinzinger Bell.
Yeah, she's tough, she's consistent. No doubt, you know, she'll make her presence felt once again. She just needs the right run in the race, and if she gets it, I'm sure she'll run well.
Another mare with a really nice parade. The team know how to train her well. She's looked great her last couple. Today's no different. She's right in the mix with the rest of these really nice mares.
10 is Sox Nation, winner of a Queensland Oaks in June, returned in the Weekend Hustler.
Good, yeah, run a sneaky good run that was. Not a lot went her way, and we saw her last preparation at 100 to 1 win the Queensland Oaks. So I think she's a bit more talented than what the market has said about her. She'll need some luck from the barrier, but I'm excited to see what she can do today with even luck in running.
She's lovely and enthusiastic, this horse. She's got a nice frame. She looks really quite forward in condition for this second up assignment. She's not a horse that carries a whole heap of excess weight, so I'd be expecting her to come to hand pretty quickly.
To the 11 in Grinzinger Bell, who's 3 weeks off winning the Ladies' Day Vase on Caulfield Guineas Day. Started the preparation with a 1-act affair in the Let's Elope and won the autumn edition of the Vanity here as a filly. Yeah, she's won 2 of 4 at Flemington. She'll jump. She looks the leader in the race. Might not be the day for that, and she was beautifully rated by Damien Lane last time out. She'll be there for a long way. She's still a real talent,
but just the conditions today haven't made it easy for a horse with that run style.
Yeah, you never know how conditions are going to play out, but I tell you what, the team have got her looking here fantastic. It's another really, really good parade from her. They couldn't have her any better.
Corsten's Larkin operation hunt for their first Group 1 as a partnership with the 12 Lady in Pink. Good run fresh in the Blazer, stayed at the 1400 and was successful in the Tristarc.
Yeah, had a beautiful run in the race there. It was a soft track. She'll handle any conditions. I think that getting a toe in certainly helped. But she'll get a good run again today. It's her third run of the preparation. It's her biggest test to date. Let's see if she's up to it. I think she's got a little to find.
Well, she might do, but she's in top-notch order. She's doing absolutely everything right in the yard. She's a lovely, relaxed mare. She knows her job. She's conserving her energy, and the team have got her here looking really well.
And the 13 Plenty of Ammo is on the back up after winning last Saturday's Crystal Mile against Open Company.
6-year-old mare, she's only had 7 starts. She's won 5 of them. It was a great win last week in good time. That's the key. She maps well here. She's performed nicely at Flemington, including being second to Uncle Bryn first up. Without much luck, her record could read even better, and she can land this Group 1.
She looks fantastic. I think she's come on from last week. She's come out brighter in the coat. Her fitness is absolutely top-notch. She's conserving her energy really nicely. I think she looks fantastic.
Back to the one in a tissue. James McDonald and Chris Waller look for their second Group 1 of the afternoon. 5th in this race 2 years ago, runner-up to Pride of Jenny last year.
And she's had Patton or you know, the premier gallopers to compete against. Let's not forget that she was beaten just over 3 lengths behind Via Sistina in the Turnbull, and that Turnbull strong form reference. So she doesn't really need to improve. 2,000 back to 1,600 metres. Chris Waller loves to do that with his horses, and she's another one that just excels at Flemington.
Another really good parade from her. Geez, there's a lot to like. She does everything right. She's a beautiful type. She's moving well, and she looks absolutely spot on. One of the top chances for sure.
Won by the likes of Melody Bell, Scholes, I Am a Star, Red Tracer, Sacred Choice, Typhoon Tracy and Divine Madonna. The tab Empire Rose is exclusively for the best of the fillies and the mares come the springtime. And you're with a Kiwi mare in Orchestral Hutch.
I am, but gee, it's a good race. I mean, I think there's a case to be made for a number of them, as you'd expect, really, on Derby Day in any of our feature races, and this Empire Rose is no exception. I think Plenty of Ammo's got a great winning chance. At Tissue, there's absolutely no knock whatsoever with her, and I wonder if that little gear change with Amelia's Jewel also might just bring about the required improvement. She'll certainly get a good run. I went 3:13, 1 and 2.
Yeah, what a lovely race. Some beautiful mares. They all know their job. One thing I noted in this mounting yard, despite the big atmosphere, every single one of these horses has just been beautifully behaved. They've all been really, really good. I'm with Plenty of Ammo here. I was tossing up between her and a Tissue. I think that I kept on flicking my eyes back between the two, and it's a hard decision to try and make, but I do think that Plenty of Ammo's come on since I saw her last week. I think that she's brighter in the coat. Her fitness is absolutely spot on. I don't think the team could have her here looking any better than what she does. As I mentioned, the other horse that I was very keen on is a Tissue. She looks fantastic. I love the way that she gets around the yard. She conserves her energy beautifully. She's a gorgeous mare, and she just does everything right. But that's not where it ends. It's a tough open race, as you'd expect, but Plenty of Ammo here.
Yeah, good spread of money. Nice price there for Amy's pick of the yard at $7. Plenty of Ammo, but it's a Tissue tightening up as we get closer to jump time, into $3.90 now. So, yeah, money's with the Tissue. Race 8, number 1. She's the class runner, but she does have a heap of class mares down the page. The best backed at the price is Elsafina, 10 into $8 and 19 into 15. Lekvate tightening up a little late there with Plenty of Ammo. So, race 8, number 1 is the one they have to beat, but geez, your same race Maldies and your exotics, look at the value you have. Only 4 in single figures. Get your bets on. Tissue tightening up to $3.80 now. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the 1-800 number or visit the helpline.
Well, Richard and Chantel Jolly are going to take the SA baton from Andrew Glewis and try and continue things for the Crow Eaters as See You in Heaven is set to tackle the Empire Rose. Richard, appreciate your time. This has been a long-range target for you. Is this exactly where you would have liked to have had her, thinking back to the start of the...
Yeah, look, we had this goal in mind. We've got here. She's safe and sound, and I think her form's good leading up to it. It's a cracking edition of the race, and definitely not easy, but no, she's done nothing wrong in our eyes.
Have you been travelling her back and forth, or has she spent extended time here in Victoria?
No, she's gone back home. We've had, you know, a month between runs at one stage and 3 weeks between her last one, so we've had her back home and done all the work at home. She's used to travelling now. She's been doing it a while. But, yeah, really happy with her. So just a matter of what run she gets and if she's good enough.
She's used to Jake tow rope, so how much can that be perhaps an advantage to draw out on his association with the mare?
Well, we had, obviously, Craig Williams has ridden her a bit here. Jamie Carr's ridden her. Craig went to Sydney, and we thought we didn't want to put anyone else on that probably hasn't ridden her before. And Jake, you know, he rides well. He's a good option for us. He knows the horse, and happy to have him on and give him that chance.
What's his plan from the gate and given the weather?
Look, she's drawn 10, which is probably a little bit awkward. I would like to have drawn in a little bit closer. Look, we'll ride her quiet, ride her to run on. Just hopefully the speed's there, and with this wind, it's suiting a few of the swoopers, so hopefully she's one of them.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Roger James, welcome back to Australia with your gorgeous mare Orchestral. How is she?
She's really well, Amy. She's paraded really well here and such a big atmosphere, and yeah, we've been happy with her all week.
She's a superstar, $2 million earner. It must be nice to have horses of this quality consistently in your stable.
Oh, I'd be telling a lie if I said anything other than yes. And it's a very hard thing to do, to win that amount of money as in one season at home. But it's a testament to how New Zealand racing has gone ahead since Entain came on board, and we're very grateful for that.
You've got blinkers going on and a tricky draw, so what do you do with the combination of the two things?
Look, I think she'll find her feet, as she always likes to do, and you know, what you don't do at one end of the race, hopefully we can do at the other. I just hope there's plenty of pace on.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
They'll be taking their time early with Orchestral. She generally settles in a rearward position, Michael?
Yeah, she does. She gets back. She doesn't jump out the barriers that well, so sometimes by putting blinkers on, it makes them miss it even more. So if that doesn't happen, she's going to be back with a Tissue. So they're two horses that we think that are very good in the market, but I honestly reckon Orchestral, if she shows her best, she can win this.
Yeah, it's an interesting race, and Simon, you got a strong leaning anyway?
Yeah, I'm with the Tissue. I think she's the class runner. I didn't think the might and power suited her on that day, the track bias close to the fence. James had to go back neutral, negative, up the paint, ride for luck. She savaged the wire. She drops back from the 1.25 miles to the mile. And I like her here at Flemington, but it's a mare's race. I mean, you could be thinking that Plenty of Ammo could be anything. Have a look at her light record. She's had the 7 starts with 5 wins and the 1 second. And this El Safina from WA, there's something about her. Not everything went right in the Toorak, but, you know, she's a high-class mare. I was watching her running railway stakes and that sort of thing, and I thought she'd be well-suited at a Flemington Carnival, and she's a nice price.
That she is. Looks like the wind's picking up as well as we head back to Matt Hill.
Rose Stakes. Revolutionary Miss Mickey D joins them. A Tissue about to come along. Lady in Pink is forward now. See You in Heaven, Zardozi, El Safina to line up with Lekvati, Sox Nation and Orchestral. So with the World Pool operating, 1.2 million in the pool, a Tissue 335 is the favourites. Lekvati going up with Zardozi. Yes, it's a triple treat of Group 1's, James, and this is the Tab Empire Rose Stakes, and Sox Nation is the last one forward for Johnny Allen. Just about set as Sox Nation takes the outside, and the field is set. They are ready. Group 1 action, and they're racing, and El Safina jumped away well with also Lady in Pink, Revolutionary Miss, and Grinzinger Bell is pushing forward as she loves to do. Kamachi next from Amelia's Jewel. El Safina's going to snag back to midfield. Then Sox Nation, a Tissue. Well back Lekvati, See You in Heaven, and towards the back of the field Zardozi and Orchestral. Grinzinger Bell still working around the outside to try and find the lead from Revolutionary Miss. Eventually Grinzinger Bell got there. Then Plenty of Ammo the outside of Kamachi. Further back is Lady in Pink on the outside. Then came Amelia's Jewel, 2 lengths to Sox Nation, and further back along the inside is El Safina. Then came a Tissue, well back in the field Lekvati, See You in Heaven, Zardozi, and at the end of the field Orchestral. Coming down to the 800, Grinzinger Bell by 2 lengths in her natural pattern from Revolutionary Miss. Kamachi is third, and then came Plenty of Ammo, Every Chance. Amelia's Jewel fifth the rails, and then came Lady in Pink, El Safina, Sox Nation. Nation. A Tissue well back with Legvati, See You in Heaven, Zardozi and Orchestral. They run the corner, 500 to go. It's Grinzinger Bell shook up by 2, Revolutionary Miss Kamachi. Further back is Amelia's Jewel on the outside. El Safina is tracking up over on the rails, and behind those then was Lady in Pink and A Tissue very wide. Grinzinger Bell with Amelia's Jewel the outer. El Safina back on the inside, and A Tissue is coming with a big run. Amelia's Jewel at the 100 metres, 3/4 A Tissue. Amelia's Jewel a neck A Tissue. Amelia's Jewel just in front of A Tissue diving. It's a head bobbing go. A Tissue. A Tissue wins from Amelia's Jewel, Sox Nation, and then a photo for 4th between El Safina and Zardozi sliding through late. Wait for Tuesday. Then Legvati behind them, Kamachi, Lady in Pink, Plenty of Ammo, Grinzinger Bell, See You in Heaven, Orchestral, and last, Revolutionary Miss. A Tissue wins. Ran so well in the race last year. A true Group 1 performer has stormed down the middle for James McDonald and Chris Waller. They both salute in 2 of the Group 1s on Derby Day. James Mack won this race on Shillelagh back in 2018, but with a blousing run, A Tissue has beaten Amelia's Jewel. 2 terrific mares fighting it out. We stand by for the full set of numbers. Sox Nation has run a big race at 60 to 1. John Allen for Kieran Maher getting up for 3rd. 1, 2, 10 and 7. 1, 2, 10 and 7. 5th goes to number 5, Zardozi. What a little pipe opener for the Melbourne Cup. And Legvati runs in 6th. They've clocked 1:35.93. It was a thriller. 1, 2, 10 and 7 in the Empire Rose.
Certainly was a thriller too. The great jockeys we have in J Mac and Jamie Carr fighting out that finish, Michael, and very little separated them. And yeah, it was just a brilliant way to finish the Empire Rose.
Sure was. And A Tissue, her run, she was off the bridle the whole way. He was always niggling at her to keep in check, but that was because the speed was probably more than genuine.
Yeah.
Grinzinger Bell was running along a bit, and James had to keep her up to the mark, but he had beautiful one off the fence. When he got to the outside, I'm going, is she going to get there, because she was flat? But then the further the race went on, the quicker she got, and it was a strong effort. He probably had to ask her to sprint for a good 800 metres to chase Amelia's Jewel down, who, with blinkers on, outstanding today.
Yeah, it was a great run and a great ride, I think, from Jamie. I've only seen it once, but, you know, she navigated a really good path there. The speed was on Simon in that race as well, so it sort of helped those that get back and wanted to finish off, and probably that stamina was key in the final 100.
It's what we wanted to see, a true test, and we know she was dropping back from the 1.25 miles. Who was the hard-fitting 1.25 miles horse going into it off a strong tempo? It was A Tissue, but she had to be there. She had to be at her brilliant best. Amelia's Jewel, she had the blinkers on, she's prime, 3rd, 4th up. Annabelle Neesham, Rob Archibald will be absolutely wrapped. They just miss in a Group 1. And then Sox Nation, this Queensland Oaks filly, who was unlucky first up, has run an absolute bottler. A Tissue was on the back of her, and she had to get going because she just got left a little flat-footed, Sox Nation, but she's run into 3rd at a beautiful price. But we expected Grinzinger Star to get across, and Bell, to get across and then open them up at the 700 metres. That's what she did. This was brilliant. Jamie Carr, beautiful ride. Amelia's Jewel from the inside gate just went, OK, thank you, pick them apart, peekaboo, bang, I'm home. And then J-Mac, any chance, picks up A Tissue and says, hang on a minute, Jamie. Hang on a minute, peekaboo, bang, get your head down for the winning post. What a mare A Tissue is. I mean, she's a 3-time Group 1 winner now. She loves the mile here at Flemington. Chris Waller again at his brilliant best, timing her for the grand final. But it was a great mares race. We love speed because it gives every horse their chance, doesn't it? But Hutchie, she had 3, 4 horses behind her, and you've got to get going, Mickey, too. You've got to get going at some stage and make the decision, even though they're 3 and 4, 5, 6 lengths in front of you and getting away, 10 lengths at the top of the straight. When he pressed the button at the 600, he trusted her to run a good, strong 6, 400, 200.
Hence the reason I said that the win was actually, she's just got up, but for her to run, it was actually probably the half mile when he looked out to come out. That's a big run to maintain it, to sustain it for a filly of her calibre. You know, generally they have a good, quick sprint, but for her to be able to do that and maintain it was just outstanding.
As a jockey, James McDonald, monkey off his back, he goes and breaks that 100 and then floodgates all of a sudden open. it happens when you're riding and you get some confidence back, Mick.
It sure does, and the way he's going with these Group 1s, it wouldn't surprise me if he laps up Damien Oliver's record by the end of the season.
Good speed early, boys. Jamie Carr's given Amelia's Jewel just the perfect trip. Got out at the right time, lengthened there, and J-Mac was aware of what was going on in the race, wasn't he? And, you know, it was interesting in that final 100. I think there was a shift out a little bit from Amelia's with that little bit of that momentum, but, gee, it was a good performance from the mare. He's got form over further, so... You know, James would have been happy enough to make that long run on her. As we head back on course and hear from Chris Waller.
Chris Waller joins us. His 51st win at a Melbourne Cup Carnival and his second Group 1 of Penfolds Victoria Derby Day 2024 as a tissue. At her third attempt, takes out the Empire Rose. That's a nice one to tick off, I imagine.
Yeah, it sure is. She's a beautiful mare. She's been with us for a long time, as you said. And these horses are so special. Any horses, but when they've been with you for that long, yeah, they're certainly part of the team, and they know the regime better than me almost. So yeah, it's proud when the old boys and girls just continue to fly the flag.
It's been a different prep for her, so a couple of 2,000-metre runs under the belt, back to the mile today. How beneficial and important was that for the run that she was able to sustain?
I think more than anything, just the confidence of knowing how well she goes at Flemington. She is a year older, so she just takes that bit longer to find grand final day, and yeah, we had a little bit of confidence to know that grand final was here this week, and she certainly saluted.
She's bookended the Saturdays, the last couple of carnivals. Chris, could we see her in a Champion Stakes next week?
Pretty good chance, yeah. She's got some good opposition, but she won't be worried about them. She'll be saying, look out for me.
Well done, well done.
Thank you.
James McDonald, the other part of the team, 51 Melbourne Cup Carnivals for wins for Chris Waller, 102 Group 1s for James McDonald. Starting to get to that 129 just quietly, Mac.
Yeah, no, slowly, but what a mare she is, isn't she? Like, she performs. She just turns up and does it, like, incredibly. Proud of her, delighted with the team that have produced just an immaculate order, and she's done the job.
Take us to your mindset at halfway when they were reasonably strung out.
Pretty pleased. I was, it felt pedestrian early, and then they just really built into it. She began nicely, and that was my only goal, was to get her going, and yeah, it was a good effort.
So once you've drawn to Amelia's Jewel, how was she able to prevail in the end?
Look at our train.
Well, the issue for you here is Chris Waller, who's not known for perhaps being jovial in front of the camera, is happy to play up outside of the camera arc.
He's all brave behind it, isn't he? It was a sensational effort, and yeah, what a day. Derby Day's brilliant, and lucky to be with a good team.
Is she at the best she's ever been for you, do you think?
Oh, mate, her performance here last year, I couldn't believe she got beaten, to be fair. And then, as it's turned out, it's been Pride of Jenny, who's an absolute star. So there's nothing to be sneezed at there. And yeah, she's just a quality mare. Really proud of her.
Kicking with a win today. Well done.
Cheers.
Well back in the field then is China Sea, and then towards the back of the field, out very deep, El Costello with Autumn Heat trying to get involved. Politely done, shuffle back to third last, with also West Indies and Tenbury Wells. Into the running at the 500 metres, and Gold Rush Guru under a hold goes up to Hot to Go. Then came King of Wall Street, who's running on fairly well. Red Aces is coming through, still 4 off the lead. Gold Rush Guru went for home. 2 lengths King of Wall Street, followed by Scary right down the centre of the track. Gold Rush Guru at the 150. Scary is staying on, then China Sea. Gold Rush Guru for South Australia with 100 to go is pulling out. It's the stronger. It's going well. And Gold Rush Guru won the Derby. Scary second, a photo third between King of Wall Street and China Sea, and then El Costello.
Well, the South Aussies came and they conquered Flemington on Derby Day. The Group 1 VRC Derby goes to Gold Rush Guru, strapped to victory by Molly Knowles. Molly, what a day at the races.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I'm still wrapping my head around it.
You have plenty to do with the young horses when they walk into the stable. Did this guy always impress you from when he stepped foot in the barn?
Yeah, he did. I was the first to sit on him in our stable, and he's always been a really impressive horse, and he was a lot to deal with, but I knew once we sort of got a control of his incredibly athletic talent, we'd be all right.
He's still a colt, and you can tell on race day, albeit he's not naughty, but he's a little bit vocal and a little bit cheeky. Does that, make it more satisfying for you that, maybe has been not a handful, but a little bit more for you to work out?
Yeah, it's definitely been a really rewarding process with him. Like, He is very vocal, but he's never been too hard to handle. He looks intimidating, but he's actually been really cooperative the whole way through. So very, very rewarding to get him here.
To share it with Andrew, you've been a big part of their team for a long time.
Yeah, a really long time. They're like family to me. So I'm just so happy for them and so happy for Andrew. Yeah.
Party time.
Absolutely. Thank you.